I give over. Like I'm grateful that we can do it in English rather than Swedish.
Yeah, I understand that.
Maybe, well, no, I wouldn't be able to give it a go. Like I know no words in Swedish.
No, no, I'm very good. I'm very confident in English. However, I never speak it nowadays. You did when you were in school, but nowadays I don't. So I have some, you just feel like rusty when you're talking again.
Mm, mm. Do you learn it like simultaneously, or do you learn Swedish first and then English?
Swedish first and then English. Or do you mean like when you learn language
Yeah.
from, or what do you think? Well, in Sweden we start learning English pretty young, like maybe like 8 years old. You start learning English in
Wow.
school.
Wow. Yeah, I got a lad I coach here, and he's Dutch, and he said he learned it at the same time, like since he was super young. They
Yeah,
taught him both languages, and I thought that was crazy.
yeah, but it makes it a lot easier to communicate in English as well. So
Yes, I feel like super guilty because I don't know another language, but that will change one day. I'm going to learn a language
yeah,
for sure.
sounds good.
I know a bit of sign language.
If I know, mean Swedish.
No, not in Swedish.
What did you say?
Sign. So with your hands.
Oh, yeah, the signs. No, yeah, I guess that I understand. We have weird ones.
Mm, mm. Yeah, like what do they say? They say German is the closest to what English was meant to be back in the day. I
Yeah,
think it is.
maybe. I actually don't know so much about languages. I never, you learn what you learn in school about them, but then kind of, you have English and I know some Spanish because that's what I also learned in school. And that's pretty much the only languages I've been focusing on just because of that.
Mm. I heard that Swedish is like two birds singing.
I heard that too, but I have no idea where they got it from. I just think like because every language in here in the north sounds pretty much the same. So you have like Finnish, not Finnish, but Norway, and you have Denmark and Sweden, and our languages sounds pretty much the same. However, we all kind of think that, well, for example, when Norway people talk, we think like, wow, they just sound like a drunk version of Swedish. So that's pretty much how we think of each other, I think, because I don't necessarily understand Danish for that matter, but we sound pretty much alike.
Mm. I when I went over to Denmark, I thought it sounded very similar to German, to like Central Europe, but my mate very quickly said no, it's very different, and shot that one down. I was like, okay, touched a nerve here.
Yeah, yeah,
Fascinating though, like languages blow my mind, like being able to,
yeah.
you know what I mean,
It's
like
very
we've
so
created
it feels
these.
great to be able to talk English right now.
There you go, that's it. So let's jump into powerlifting. It's
Yeah.
clearly that's your thing. You're an absolute badass. How did you get started on this powerlifting journey?
So I started training, just normal gym training when I started high school, and kind of fell in love with strength training. And but what happened was that I started following all these like fitness influencers and hashtags and everything fitness on Instagram, and then I realized that powerlifting was a sport. And when I grew up, I was always like the short and strong girl. And I could beat, like in arm wrestling, I could be like every guy in my class up till 10 years old. So I was always small and strong. And what happened was when I found out that powerlifting was a sport, I basically just decided the minute that I found out that this is the sport for me, because I always grew up wanting to do a sport. I never wanted to train just for training, but I wanted to participate in a sport. I wanted to be great at a sport, but I never found one that I could compete in. I've been doing horseback riding my entire life, basically. But having horses, it takes a lot of money. So I never had the ability to go pro or anything or compete in it. I just had horses and basically yeah, did it for fun. But so I found out, and I said at home that I checked what centers, powerlifting centers, there were near me. And I found one called Sundsvalls Atletklubb. And so I went on their website and I just checked around to see how do I do this? How do I start? Where do I go? Where do I train and all that? And so I said at home that, hey, there's this guy at this club near in our city that's benched a world record. His name is Fredrik Svensson. And what my dad said was that that guy now trained strongman in the same building that my dad's company is.
Oh.
So what happened was that my dad just someday went and talked to Fredrik and asked if I could come train. So I went there. I had already tried squat, bench, and deadlift, of course, and I knew I was pretty strong. And I had watched Open Nationals, and I had decided that next year I'm gonna be at Open Nationals and that I'm gonna compete. So I came there and I just said to him that I want to compete, and he looked at my technique and just trained with me, decided what I was supposed to do, and then he started writing a training program to me. And so I started with his help, and I had this help until the end of 2020, and he helped me through my entire journey. And I just knew that since I began training just powerlifting, I knew that I was going to train and do a competition, and then I wanted to go to nationals. And I didn't know about Open Nationals that you had to qualify, but I did get to Open Nationals in exactly that time limit that I had set, although I didn't know that there would be qualification numbers, but I managed them. So that was great. And I just started competing, and yeah, that's that. And I always knew that I want to go to the top.
Wow. So you went to Open Nationals the first year?
Yeah, so I did my first competition in the fall in 2018. So it's exactly 3 years ago today, actually. That's pretty fun. Yeah, so I did my first competition then, and then in June 2019, I did my first Open Nationals. In May, I did my first sub-junior, because I was only 17. I did my first sub-junior nationals, which I won, and did a qualification total and everything to Open Nationals.
Like, that's insane. Like, being able to just rock up and be like, hey, I'm going to take top spot now.
Yeah, kind of. And I think it's basically because I just knew, and I had the mentality that this is where I'm going. I'm going to be the best.
Mm-hmm.
And so I trained for that since day one. I didn't dare to say to anyone that I wanted to be a world champion back then, because it felt like, who am I to say that when I never even competed? But I knew deep inside that that's what I wanted. I just didn't dare to say it out loud.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and like you get those athletes that like to project it to the world and proclaim what they're going to do, and then you got those athletes that say it in their head. And I believe that the stronger ones are the ones that you tell yourself, and you're like, okay, everyone else will see when it's done. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. And nowadays, for the most part, it also was like I wanted it, and I've always felt like I could be a champion in a sport. That's why I always wanted it, but I never had the confidence, feeling that I could do it. Like I actually knew I can be a world champion. I think that's why I didn't dare to say it out loud, because what if I say it out loud and then it doesn't happen?
Mm-hmm.
Then I've grown more and more confident, and I've decided that the bigger I aim, sort of, the saying, aim for the stars and fall on the treetops.
Mm-hmm.
or Fall on the Moon.
Mm-hmm.
It's that one. So I just decided to aim as high as possible, and just whatever. Then if I say it, then I will be held accountable if it doesn't happen. I sort of have to make it happen as well. So that's why I also decided that I can be open about it. It's my goal and it's not going to change.
It's like a law of attraction, right? You're manifesting what you want to happen. You're putting it out there into the world, and eventually something will come back to you, right?
Exactly. And sort of thinking like everything starts with a thought, and then it sort of is an idea, it's this whole journey of start with someone thinking it, and everyone thinks that it's not, that this is impossible. And then someone starts trying to do it, and suddenly everyone thinks that, okay, it's hard, but it's not impossible. And then someone does it. It always starts like that.
Yeah, like everything's impossible until it's done.
Exactly.
Yeah, I like to personally, I like to think nothing's impossible. Obviously, there's some things that physics claims to be, literally
Yeah.
impossible,
I
but
always think that impossible is only an opinion.
mm,
Impossible is nothing. It comes from Muhammad Ali.
mm,
I don't know the exact quote, but that's the quote I have in mind.
but it's like the actual word is spelled I'm possible.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Just
if you
put
believe yourself,
a sign there. Yeah.
it's all those little
So that,
things, right?
yeah. So that's how I started, and then I just kept on going. After that Open Nationals, I got chosen to go to the Nordic Championships, which is
Oh,
basically Denmark, Finland, all the in here in the north, Iceland, Norway, and Sweden. We compete about who's the best in the north. And so I went there and I won as well, both in bench press and in powerlifting. And I did some records, sub junior Nordic records in bench, deadlift, and total, and Swedish records in everlift.
holy shit! What did you
Yeah.
walk away with? What were the numbers?
Well, back then, what did I do? I did 136 kilo. Yeah, 136 kilo in the squat. I did 82.5. Yeah, I think 82.5 in bench press, and I did 80. I actually don't really remember. It was 2 years ago today as well. Uh, and then I did 161, I think, or 162 I did in deadlift. I think
Mm,
it was like a 380 total, maybe.
wow.
No, or 370, 60. Yeah, something like that. But basically, around those numbers.
At what age?
I had just turned 18
That's
and
absolutely insane.
yeah. But so it felt great. I did the first nationals, my sub junior nationals that I did take these exact records as well. Only that I didn't officially, but every competition that I did after my first sub junior nationals was just increasing them. So I already
Mm,
had the records when I went to the Nordic Championships. I just got them higher
mm.
before my first junior year.
It blows my mind the capabilities of some ladies, right? And I think it's coming to the forefront through strength sports, whether it's strong woman, whether it's powerlifting, whether it's weightlifting, whatever it is, whether it's CrossFit, that
Yeah,
you can pull
yeah, of
ties from
course.
that and parallels.
Yeah, I think that people don't understand how much we are capable of. And I think today with social media, like if I ever feel like this weight is my total max, then you see someone else wrecking that weight, or you see someone doing 50 kilos more than you, or 100 kilos more. It just like we said, it starts with the thought. So someone sees that and you think that, okay, this is something you can do. And when you think that, suddenly, if you start putting it as a goal, you will be able to do it. You just have to give it time. But most people, they don't have like this willpower to actually give it time.
Mm.
But everything is possible. And now we start seeing this more and more, and the more of ladies and females that go into the sport and go into lifting, the more will be starting to be possible that we thought was impossible before. So
Mm.
I just think that what will happen in 10 years from now, the numbers will be crazy.
I think the gap in sport between male and female is going to be reduced.
Yeah, I think so too. Definitely. How much I don't know,
Mm.
but I think that we will show that we're capable of a lot more than you would normally think,
Mm.
and that's something like I my first goal with the sport was to be a world champion, and it still is. And I don't just want to be a world champion. I want to be a world champion, and I want to stay up there in the top for years. So it's a long journey. It's not about just climbing to the top. I want to stay on the hill as well.
Yeah.
But something else really driving me is to be the first woman to do something that no one else has, and as a woman who people won't believe it's possible. So I want to do something that everyone thinks this isn't possible, and especially not for a woman. And that I want to do because I want to sort of inspire young girls out there and to just, you can be strong. Like, being strong isn't about your gender like that. In simply, you can be strong, and strength comes in so many ways. And that's one of the reasons that I'm doing this as well, to show other girls that it's possible. You just have to set your mind to it.
Mhm. And that's showing mental strength as well, right? Like
Yeah,
regardless of how much you total and how much you lift, like it doesn't necessarily matter when it comes to this. Like it shows your mental strength, and then
yeah,
those people coming after you can then go take that and then go elsewhere and apply it in whatever one they want to apply it in.
exactly. And I truly believe that how you do one thing is probably how
Yeah.
you will do most things in life.
Yeah.
So if you can just find strength in one part of your life, if other parts of your lives will get easier as well. So that's one of the big parts that I'm doing it.
Yeah, I'm massive onto habits. And obviously that links really very well with what you just said. It's like what you do how you do anything is how you do everything. And
Yeah, exactly.
it's all about those
So
habits and creating those good habits, right?
yeah, exactly. And I think a lot of people are too, not necessarily lazy, but they don't dare to put everything into something. And but also is the thing that you can be great at a lot of things, but you can't be the best of everything.
Mhm.
Sometimes you have to shoot something, but just having strength, and not, the fact that you can train your body to get stronger should also make you understand that you can train your mind to get stronger as well, and that the mind is basically this at the center of this whole thing. So
Mhm.
if you think and your goal is like this low, this or maybe this is how far you reach. But if your goal is up here, then that's sort of, you will reach above the first low goal you had.
Yeah, it goes back to like shoot for the moon and the stars or the treetops or whatever. Like,
Exactly.
like
It's a great quote. We've all heard it a lot of time, but it's one of my favorites.
yeah, me too. Like I remember hearing that a long, long time ago, and I was like, oh, you know what? Yeah. And it links to another quote of like, so like people don't fail because they shoot too high and miss. Like they fail because they shoot too low and hit. So like, oh, okay,
Exactly.
yeah, I'm like, I'll never get into powerlifting, for example. So then you're like, okay, well, I'll do powerlifting. And you get into it. You're like, fantastic, you got into it, but you never know your capability.
Yeah, exactly. But so I think I truly believe, but the thing is with setting goals really high is you also have to cut yourself some slack as well,
Mm.
of course. So it's about really enjoying the journey, enjoying the process. Because if you just put goals up and your only thought is to reach that goal, and you don't really like the process, what will happen is basically that you might reach the goal, but you won't enjoy it. And at the same time, it won't matter. So just thinking like the goal, setting goals high, you have to enjoy the process. Because when you should set your goals high, but if you set them so far, you might not reach them in a small amount of time. So you
Hmm.
have to cut yourself some slacks and really enjoy the journey.
Hmm. Yeah, totally agree. I think people like the comfort of having a dream and not the hard work of turning it into a goal.
Yeah, and this is something that I read once. It was an article, and what it said was set goals, always work towards goals, but whatever you do, don't reach them.
Ooh.
And it got me thinking. First, I was like, "What? No, of course I should reach them." But the thing is, you should have a lot of different goals,
Hmm.
because if you aim sort of to not reach your goal, that's not good, of course. But the thing is, when people have a goal and that's all the only goal they have, when they reach that, they go empty,
Hmm.
and they're like, what next? So this is why, for me, for example, I have short-term goals, and it can be a weight I want to lift this month. It could be a weight that I want to lift this year, a competition I want to participate in, I want to medal in, or something, things like that, in the span of 1 month to a year. So a short amount of time. And then I have like some other goals, like a vision, where do I want to be? And I have stretch goals. And these are like something that at first, when I first look at them, they seem impossible.
Hmm.
But obviously, they don't have to be. But that's like at the end of my journey or something. And what I do with my goals, as I said, I don't just want to be a world champion, I want to stay there for a long time. So I have no time limit. This means that my goal is ongoing, because the human, we always feel better when we're working towards something,
Hmm.
working towards a goal. So if your goal is really short, you will reach it in a short amount of time, and then you will go empty and you will lose purpose. So to have purpose in life, you should have passion and you should work towards something. And that's why I have all these different goals. So I always can feel the joy of reaching a goal, because it makes you happy, but also always have something else to keep my eyes on, so I don't go empty.
Totally, totally agree 100%. Like purpose is the thing that gets you up and gets you moving out of bed every day, right? Like if you didn't have a purpose, you would fall by the wayside pretty quickly and like you said, feel empty. Um I I I, I think people like the pleasure of achievement. You know what I mean? It's that short-term pleasure rather than long-term satisfaction.
Yeah, and when you think about it, that short, the the joy you get very shortly from achieving something, well, of course it's good, but achieving, if you have short-term goals, you will reach this short-term joy a lot of times, but you will also have the long-term satisfaction in the
Hmm.
end, so that all the time you will always work to do something. You will wake up and you will know, today I'm doing this because of this. You invest your time instead of wasting it, basically.
Mm, I agree. I agree. What advice would you give to people then if they into goal setting? What would you personally tell them to do?
You mean like if someone started powerlifting, or if they feel empty?
It doesn't necessarily have to be powerlifting, but if they wanted to set a goal in mind just in life.
Yeah, I would always say, because this is something, in Sweden in powerlifting, we have the national team, and basically we have some sort of like camps, um, for some of the best athletes to, the national team, we want to keep it strong, we want to keep everyone to have a feeling of a team, and basically just help every lifter to get better. And so what I learned there is this setting goals the way I do now, I learned there. And then I developed my own skills and what works for me, what doesn't. But so what I would say is basically that I would ask, what do you want to be different tomorrow, for example? How would you like to change your life living from each day? Just thinking about, and then go, what would a perfect day be for you right now? And let's say in 10 years, or let's say if you had, just say like you had all the money in the world and you could do whatever you wanted, how would a perfect day look for you then? And then the day that the perfect day for you, if you had everything you wanted, that's the long-term goal.
Mm.
That's the long-term goal. What? Because when you look at it, it will seem impossible. Of course it isn't impossible. So that's the long-term goal. And then and then you start breaking down, how can you get there, sort of, what can you do this year, and what do you have to change in everyday life in order to get there. So that's your short-term goals, finding habits that will work for you, and always having the long-term goal in mind helps you create habits that will be beneficial for that goal. And so I rarely speak of this because for me, it's super clear, and for a lot of people, it isn't. But so truly wish that a lot more people would have the time or get help to sit down and create goals. And it's something that I try to do because I work with coaching. I recently started, so I coach athletes and also normal people who just want to, get better at training or whatever it is. If they want to get stronger, lose weight, feel better, and whatever, I can help. And so that's what I do. And what I've been trying to get my clients to do is to actually write down their goals. So you ask them, what are your goals? And then you want to break down and start. When I program what they do, I want to program it to giving short-term satisfaction, but also the long-term satisfaction, so that they will feel a purpose every day.
Yeah, writing your goals down is, a medium of putting it out into the world, right? You're creating it into a physical thing of like words on a paper or words on a screen or whatever it is.
A lot of people are dreaming, they dream a lot, they know what they want, but they don't dare to put it on paper. I didn't. When I first started powerlifting, I didn't even dare to put it on paper when I wrote down my goals. And that's crazy because a lot of people, they're so stuck in believing that it's impossible that they don't dare to think of it as anything else.
Although,
so writing it down, it starts with a thought, and we're back to that.
Yeah. Although some people like having a dream and keeping it there.
Yeah, a lot of it, and that's obviously okay as well. And as long as you're doing what you're doing and you're happy there, that's all that matters. And so, but every time you work with a client like I do, you try to just, in order to make them feel as good as possible. And it's sort of what I want to do with my journeys. I want to inspire both with actually helping clients the way they do now, but also with my powerlifting journey, which is my main focus every day. It's to inspire people that impossible is just an opinion, impossible is nothing, you can do everything. And that's the center of everything.
Well, you're definitely doing that.
Yeah, it's crazy because sometimes I get these messages from people actually saying these kinds of things. And sometimes for me, it's so unreal that this is where I'm at. I forget it so often that I actually am inspiring people. But every time that I hear it, I'm so surprised every time. And I always go like, oh my God, this is the nicest thing ever. Because I never really get that it's real. But I love that I'm doing it.
Yeah, like you set a goal and you've accomplished it like that. It's working. You're clearly doing something correct. So keep doing it.
Well, it's exactly 2 weeks until Worlds now. So
Wow.
I was definitely on the right path. So, and this is just junior worlds. And then a month from worlds, I'm going to bench press worlds in Lithuania.
Wow. Where is
So,
where's Junior Worlds held?
it's here in Sweden, actually, in Halmstad. So it's IPF Worlds, and I think it was around like 1,000 lifters, about 10 days. You know, it's a master worlds, it's open, sub juniors, every category, every weight class, classic
Wow.
powerlifting. So I'm on my last week of training, a heavy week of training right now towards sports. I got 3 sessions left, and then it's on the deload, and then
Wow.
it's competition. And will be my first world championship as well. So this is really a dream come true. And when I found out that I was going to worlds, I cried for like a half an hour. Like I bust my eyes out because I was crying so bad, because it meant so much to me to get the chance to go to worlds. Like, this is only one step of my journey. I got a lot more coming, but at the same time, just the fact that it was actually real, I just started crying.
You're on the ladder now, right? Like
Yeah,
you've set your goals all the way at the top of the ladder to climb to the clouds, but like now you're actually on the ladder, and
yeah,
that's incredible.
yeah, it is. And sometimes you have to remind yourself of where you are all the time, but it's a great journey. It is.
So what's the goal for this world? Have you got any numbers in mind?
Well, I do get numbers in mind. Well, So I got for bench press. I got bench press worlds a month out, a month after powerlifting worlds. So I haven't trained singles in like anything for since last fall. So like for a
Wow.
year now, and I haven't. So I don't really know. What I do know is that my national team coaches will get to put whatever on the bar that will give me a medal. So I think, because what you do on competition day, the numbers, they don't really matter. What will matter is my position, the medals. And I know I got some really good competitors. So, for example, from Italy, and I know that they're really strong. But at the same time, I just right now, I'm just thinking that I'm getting as prepared as I can, and then that day I'm gonna do what I have. But my goal is definitely gonna be on a medal and on a goal. I'm not gonna go there with well, of course, my goal is to win the gold medal. If it's possible this time, I don't know. I will have to see. I will just have to do my best. But it is the goal, and it's what I'm coming there for. And maybe I have to change plans that day, but we'll see. But for me, it's just that aim high, start with a thought, and then maybe if it doesn't happen this world's, I got plenty more coming.
100%. Like, every
So
athlete should rock up to every competition and be like, yeah, I'm here to win. But at the same
yeah,
time, like if someone
I
beats
think
me,
my
then
best yeah, my best lifts right now is like bench press and deadlift.
nice.
So I'm just hoping my deadlift is feeling kind of good. My bench press has felt like shit for a couple of weeks, but it's just these last weeks now just started to go really well. And right now I'm extremely strong.
Nice.
So that's great, because I have a chance of maybe getting to go to open bench press worlds as well. So performing in the bench press is really important for me. So that's gonna be the most fun part, I think.
What is your all-time numbers on squat bench deadlift?
So I've done 2 reps on 161 in the squat. I haven't done a single in a year, and my single PR is 140. On competition is 145.
Nice.
So I've gotten stronger. My bench press single, the best that I've done is 120 kilos. but I've also done like 4 reps for 4 sets on 120 kilos, and I've done fives on 115 kilos. So I don't know. We'll have to see on that day. And deadlift, I've done 2 reps on 192.5. I've done 205 the most, but I'm hoping to do more.
God damn. That's some big numbers.
Yeah. So I think that I'm nominated on 422.5 with that 145 squat, 102.5 bench press, and 175 in deadlift. So I'm nominated as 6th right now, but my numbers in training, what I've done since then, have increased a lot. So it will probably be higher. But we'll have to see. Everything can happen.
Anything can happen on competition day, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like it basically your competition could bomb out, so it could be a green light. Also, you could have someone else who's been basically not showing how strong they are. They could have increased a ton, so someone could technically come in and be 50 kilos stronger. I am basically 50 kilos stronger from my nominated total, so anyone else could probably be too. So everything can happen. It's just gonna have to show on these days. I mean, but for me, it's my first world championship, so I'm gonna enjoy it. I'm gonna learn from it, and well, it's about being best at open worlds. I want to be best at the open world level. So, and it's a junior world championship. So this is mostly experiencing, and just being a good and proud member of the Swedish national team.
That's massive, like representing your country on a world stage. That's absolutely huge.
Yeah, definitely. Just getting, the all the clothes with Sweden on it, and you go like, yes.
Yeah.
Even though it just feels, it has this great feeling. That's why I started crying so bad, because it's a world championship and I will be there. Just getting the chance to say that I'm going to world championship, it's something that not a lot of people would have the chance to experience. So the fact of that is something that I'm proud of.
Yeah, and the travel it's gonna open up too. Like going to compete in all these crazy countries around the world. It's gonna be like a fascinating journey.
Yeah.
Seeing different people, experiencing new cultures, and doing squat, bench, and deadlift.
Exactly. Couldn't get any better.
Yeah, man. Did you always think you were gonna do this? Was there something in the back of the mind that was a little bit of a doubt, or were you like, nah, this is it?
You mean powerlifting?
Mm.
Yeah, like I said, when I was small, I didn't know about sport, but I always knew, we have this show in Sweden called Gladiators, and it's people that are very well trained and they're strong. And I used to watch this with my family as a little girl. And what I would do is that I would go and do chin-ups and push-ups in my bedroom all night. Like I have crazy energy, and I always felt like I wanted to be strong. And I looked at sports, and for me, I always knew that somehow or some way I'm gonna be an elite athlete. I always knew that, sort of knew and have the feeling that I have a purpose. And then the minute that I found powerlifting, as I said, I knew it, and I kind of knew from the beginning that this is something I'm gonna do.
Wow.
So it's right.
What's it like strength spots in Sweden? Is it popular?
It is. It's getting more and more popular as well. What I did find is like strength sport for women up here in the north of Sweden, especially in the town that I live in, is actually a lot less. So that has been something that I've really enjoyed, getting to go here in Piteå, is what it's called, and actually be a role model in a way that a lot of people haven't seen before. Because if you go south in Sweden, strength sports, strength training, gym training regular and is extremely popular, and there's a lot of people doing it. But the more north you get, there's more like going outside in the woods, because there are a lot more woods than what people enjoy. But so it's getting a lot bigger here too, and that's amazing. especially being a part of it.
So yeah, from an outsider looking in, like all Scandinavian countries seem so fit and healthy, right? And everyone plays some sort of sport and strong as hell. Like, but it's always fascinating to learn what it's like actually in the country rather than just looking
Yeah, I
into the
think
window.
that strength sports is a difference, but as when you talk about like sports and especially skiing, I think that we have a lot of people are being active here in like another scale. You know, for example, up here, world strength sport might not be extremely popular, but
Mhm.
at the same time, a lot of people move around. They go out in the woods, they go camping and everything like that, and so they're healthy in that way.
Mm, that's awesome. Like just trying to get people outside, you know what I mean? People need that endorphin rush, you know. You don't always have to be inside the gym, but I mean getting people inside the gym's never a bad thing.
No, definitely not.
Oh mate, I can't wait to see what numbers you end up putting up in worlds. Like I think it's going to be absolutely phenomenal. You'll have to keep me posted. I'm sure it'll be everywhere.
Yeah,
Um,
it will be a live stream on Good Lift. So, but obviously, I will post it on my social media. I will post everything about when, where, how, a link and everything. So they can just check it out there. And I think it will be massive. I'm just gonna enjoy every second of it. And I just think like in exactly 2 weeks I will be competing because I compete on Monday at 5 p.m. in Swedish time.
fuck, that's crazy. Super excited for you.
Thank you.
Yeah, go and enjoy it. Go kick ass and just have fun. You know what I mean? Like this is like we said, this is the start of the journey. Everything that you've done has got you to this point, and now you're on that ladder. So fucking shoot for the stars.
Yeah, I definitely am going to win. Well, right after Worlds we can bench Worlds, so no
Oh
rest
yeah,
for the wicked.
nice.
Yeah.
All right, thank you very much. I really really appreciate your time. I know it's real like finite at the moment getting ready for worlds. I know you want to be super zoned in on the world, so I won't take any more
Yeah.
mental energy. So mate, thank you so much.
Thank you so much. It was a blast.
Go have fun. Go relax before you get on that stage and then yeah, I'll make sure we got a little cheerleading crew down here in New Zealand for you.
Thank you. That's amazing. It feels great to hear.
No problem. Take it easy.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.